This is Hydra from X Trades back with another video, and in this video we're going to recap Palantir's big move back in starting from 2023. So this is going to be one of those in-depth videos where we're going to really go down to the daily chart and look at it bar by bar and try to find the best opportunities that Palantir gave us. Um, so yeah, let's start off back in 2023. So actually, let's take a look at the weekly chart first, right? So taking a look at the weekly, you can see that. Whoops. You can see that Palantir formed a very strong breakout, or it did have a very strong breakout back when it IPO'd in 2020, right, when everything was running. And it consolidated very nicely, and then it ended up breaking down actually, which a lot of people weren't expecting. And this did undercut its IPO's lows, and it went as low as $5, and it was 45 at one point, which is pretty insane. But yeah, so this one it was consolidating for quite some time. It formed the base for almost a year, right? And I would say the base is around this range, right? So we have two rejections here. We have multiple bounces, so this is definitely a key level, and that support is around that $6 level. So yeah, um, this would be around where I would say the base was, right? And then we had a big increase in volume, right? Big increase in volume and a huge move, right? So let's zoom in there and see what was happening. So let's look at the daily max. Where is it? Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this move was from earnings, right? So we had a good earnings report. Palantir got some big volume, right? And a lot of people were keeping an eye on this one. So from here, we formed a really nice flag setup, right? And this is probably one of the best setups that is out there in the entire market, right? When you have a big gap up, big volume, and then you have a nice flag form after that, that's a really good low risk, high reward setup, right? So here you can place the stop loss at that inside bar low, and the entry would be at that when we break that inside bar high or when we break that flag. Either option works, right? But from here we have a huge move. We go from $9 to 17, so that's almost a double right there in itself, right? So yeah, this one had a huge move here. Really nice setup. Again, I can't stress how good of a setup this is, right? So this is probably one of the best setups you'll see in a while. But yeah, really good setup. Really nice move, and then we consolidate, right? And then here we get kind of choppy, which makes sense because we made such a big move up, right? We doubled, so it's very reasonable for us to pretty much go nowhere for the next couple of months just to digest those gains properly, right? So here we kind of form like another base. Um, this would be in the top of the base, right? Clean this up. And then here again, we get a nice gap up, and then we get a nice flag forming, right? So here again, this is a pretty good opportunity. And we did get a nice move for a couple days after, right? But we ended up coming back in. So if you took that trade, you would have been stopped out, which is fine. And then again, you have a huge earnings gap up, huge volume, right? So here is definitely viable using the 5-minute opening range break on the intraday, right? So on this candle, definitely viable. And then we're breaking out of this space, so that's definitely a really good sign, right? You want to be paying attention, paying close attention, right? So again, we have a huge breakout. If you bought here and you had your stop around that level, you would have been okay. You could have taken this consolidation, right? Or as we were breaking this consolidation phase, you could have also entered, right? So it was very choppy. It was a hard period to trade, but if you were able to like trade this breakout, kind of, it's not the best downtrend. Yeah, not the best downtrend line, but as we were breaking out of this mini base again, then it was viable. So here would have been a decent entry, right? And then you had a nice trend, and then you have a gap down that catches a lot of people off guard, right? A lot of people probably got stopped out, and then you end up reversing. So from here again, you have a nice gap up. So on that gap up, on that gap up, it is viable again, right? You're breaking out of the space, you're making new highs. That's a very good sign. You have like a mini flag forming here, and you pretty much take off, right? and then again you have a mini flag forming here, and then you take off, and then again huge earnings gap up, um, decent volume, not the best, not like before, but still good volume, right? And then you pretty much take off again, right? So we have some mini flags on the way, yeah, that we form on the way, and then we just grind up higher and higher. Here we have like a more choppy flag, and then we break out and then end up pulling back in, and then we kind of form like a mini base again, right? So here we form another mini base, and then we have a huge breakout again on huge volume. And then again, this was a good setup, right? You have like a mini 2 bar flag and then breakout. So a lot of momentum, a lot of opportunities. And then you have a bigger correction as the market is correcting. And then again here, you have a mini base forming. You have a mini flag here. And then, yeah, it's a buyable on this day. And then, yeah, it makes a really nice move back up from 100 to 125, 25% move right there. And then now it's currently forming a flag and breaking out again. So here it is buyable, and I do have a position right now. But yeah, my point is that Palantir offered so many opportunities, right? Especially back 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 when it first broke out, right? This was a really good flag opportunity, multiple flag opportunities, right? Not everything worked out, but if you were able to stay in this one, right, for a longer term gain or for a longer term hold, you would have done like 100 times your risk, initial risk, right? 100 R trades. But yeah, this one, the common theme is all of these big, all of these big winners, right? They all have one common theme, and the common theme is that they have big volume, big breakouts, or big breakouts on big volume, and it's typically caused by some sort of catalyst, such as earnings reports, right? So here you have one big earnings report, here you have another one, here you have another one, or yeah, here you have another one, and then here you have another one, right? So this had 4 back to back, or 5 back to back. But yeah, so that is one of the key characteristics that I continue to see over time and time again, right? Big earnings gap ups um, is a sign that you have a stock that can potentially go much, much higher, right? So a lot of people avoided the stock here because it was already super duper extended. But look at what Palantir did, right? It went from 50 to 125. So it went so much higher. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for tuning in.